Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Curling Community Connection. It's Monday, 5 o'clock, and we are on Mayoral Mondays. It's the last of 5 contenders for the spot here to represent Scottsdale. We're lucky to be joined by Miss Suzanne Klapp. She was elected to the City Council in 2008 and re-elected in 2012 and 2016. As a councilwoman, her primary concerns are economic development and job creation, strategic planning, conservative fiscal and regulatory policies, and citizen leadership development. She served on the City Council's Audit Subcommittee and the Capital Improvement Project Subcommittee. Suzanne is now chairman of the Council's Economic Development Subcommittee. Before I welcome Suzanne, I would like to remind everybody that I try to ask the same questions of all the candidates. This is not me endorsing Mrs. Klapp, and Mrs. Klapp is not endorsing me. Although we like each other, we're just going to have a conversation. We both feel it's important for everybody to vote. We also feel it's very important that people vote informally. So we will try to take your questions. If you have any, put them into the Facebook feed, and my campaign manager, Andy Gomez, will then put it into the Zoom chat, and I will hopefully get the answers from Suzanne. And as always, there is no crying, okay? We ask the questions we ask, we try to get the answers. And
does that apply to you too?
No. Yeah, actually, I've done my crying about an hour before this. I'm trying to take the bags out from under my eyes.
Okay.
Miss Suzanne Klapp, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I have never been better. I just keep on getting better and better. And I can see from your smile, you're feeling pretty much the same way, right? It's exciting to be in a campaign.
It's exciting. And please call me Suzanne. You don't have to call me Mrs. Klapp.
Okay. Thank you, Suzanne. You can call me Eric.
Thank you.
Hey, Suzanne, so let's get right to it. What makes you the person to represent Scottsdale as its mayor?
Well, I think I'm the one who has gotten more done on the council than anybody else. I think we should be looking at accomplishments more than promises. So I have accomplished a great deal in the years that I've been there. Most recently, 3 examples would be that I was chairman of the campaign to improve streets and intersections in Scottsdale. It's called Yes for Scottsdale Streets. And we were able to get that ballot measure passed by the voters, which brought us approximately, with county funds, about $210 million to improve streets all over the city. And I was very instrumental in that. Then right after that, we had the ballot measure that was to answer whether we should have development in the preserve. And I did support that measure. And of course, we know that was overwhelmingly passed by the citizens. And then finally, last year, we also passed 58 infrastructure projects that were approved by the voters for a total of $319 million. I worked on the council subcommittee to bring that list to the council. We held meetings all over the city, did a great deal of community outreach. The committee consisted of Kathy Littlefield, Guy Phillips, and I. We worked together to get that list put together, and we found that what we were able to provide to the council was changed very little. There was a lot of consensus. We took it to the voters, and I feel very good about my effort on that. So I think my work on the committee was very valuable, and I have always been able to work with anybody that's on the council in order to get things done, which is why I accomplish a lot. I'm able to develop consensus, and I will take that type of attitude to the council. My motto is to put unity back into community.
I love that.
I believe in unity. I don't believe we need to be divided. We've got enough divisiveness in this world. The council needs to work together as much as possible. We're 7 individuals with 7 different ideas, but we can work together for the common good.
You know, my head is spinning with all kinds of things when I hear unity of community. I just love it. I think like teacher, you can't have teacher without her. I mean, there's lots of things in wordplay, and I just dig it. So we are going to talk about unity. We're going to talk about divergent opinions.
There's no I in team either.
Yeah, well, we can spell that a little differently. I do want to say that I didn't say earlier on, I appreciate you not naming names, but this isn't a debate, right? This is going to be you talking about your strengths more so than other person's weaknesses. And I appreciate that. Everybody's been really good about it. So let's talk about unity, because we do have, it seems like, 2 distinct camps in Scottsdale. We have what seems to be pro-development. We have what seems to be anti-development. And I think from your words, I am one of the people that think that these choices are not always binary. In fact, we get caught too much in a binary choice of yes or no. But right now, we do have a very strong vibe going for two camps. How do you bring the unity into this community that seems very divided?
Well, I think you first have to have people that are willing to talk to each other. So I'm hoping in the next council, we're going to have people that are willing to come to consensus on things. It really kind of depends on who's at the table. And yes, right now we have a lot of division, and partly because there was an election coming. So it was a good time to kind of stir things up and find out what the appetite was out there. And so there is a candidate that's very good at stirring up that sort of thing and finding out if he can
Don't make me throw this flag on you, Suzanne.
I am not mentioning names, but there is a person who's good at doing that. I'm giving him a compliment. He's very good at doing that. And so we're now into an election.
Ooh,
and
it's a he.
Well, there's women and men running, so you don't know who that is. And so from my perspective, I know that there is a way to do this. My whole career has been built on unifying people. I know how to do it, and I've done it on the council. So I believe as a mayor, I have a prime opportunity to show you that we can bring people together. And as far as the community is concerned, one of the ways that we can bring more unity in the community is to talk very specifically and get everybody's idea about a new general plan. We've not been able to do that since I've been on the council. That is very, very concerning that we've not been able to get a general plan passed by the citizens. We need to make sure this time around that we're doing all we can to get enough input that when we take a general plan to the ballot, that it will be approved by the voters. And I would imagine we'll use some of the same process once we get a plan that's being written by a task force right now to us. Then we need to send that out also to the community and have community meetings, just like we did on the bond projects. Get buy-in from the community and find out what problems there are. If there's things that we can change in the plan that will make them happy. And then from that, we can take it to the full council and have a decent discussion and hopefully come up with a plan that will be approved by the voters. It is not easy, but it can be done.
It isn't, and it's something that by law should be done every 10 years. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, what we're doing is we are actually updating our previous plan. We have a plan in place. And so we've been told that the plan we're using has been approved by the voters. It's fine to use that plan, but we have to keep working on it. We tried to pass a plan a number of years ago, and it did not pass, but that was our effort to be able to do it within 10 years. So we're doing it again. So we've not been told that we are not compliant. We were told we have to get a general plan approved, and we definitely are working on it.
So the process then is kind of the committee working on a blueprint, and then it goes to the community for input, and
I'm sure that right now there is a committee that was formed there, and the unfortunate part of all of this is they have to do this on virtual meetings. You know, you don't have a great community meeting when everything is virtual. So they are meeting among themselves, they're meeting among themselves to talk about what they can do to,
Yeah, you see that way that worked? I passed it to you and you took it and changed colors. We really worked on that ahead of time, so that was really good. Thank you, Suzanne.
This group is formed of boards and commissions that we already have. So individuals from each board and commission are meeting collectively to talk about the current general plan and update it. And they're having virtual meetings. Not the best way, but it's the only way they can do it right now. So the public can be involved, but it's like this: how much public can you really get to put input in when they can't be in the meeting? So you can send out links on a website, you can do other things, but as time progresses, hopefully we will have meetings again. Then they can bring in public input, and that's okay. But whatever they bring to us, I think still should go out when there's a final document that's written and it's presented to the council. I believe what could happen is the council could have a subcommittee, just like we did on bonds. The subcommittee could hold meetings throughout the city to make sure that everybody likes what's written in that general plan. They can come back and rediscuss this whole concept again. And then if there needs to be some tweaking done, they can do it and then send it to the full council. So there would be a step in there that I think would help, just like we did with the bond projects, to try to get a subcommittee working on it. And that hopefully will cause us to have enough public input by holding meetings all over the city again that we can actually get something approved by all the citizens. That's my hope. And that's certainly what I would be working on.
Yeah. Great. So just a reminder to those who've joined us late, we're talking with Suzanne Klapp. She's one of 5 people running for the mayor spot here in Scottsdale. The early ballots will come out in a week or so, and the election is August 4th. We hope that you vote informally, and part of our job here is to get you informed. So if you have any questions, please type those into the comment bar on the Facebook, and we'll get those answered as best we can. Hey, let's go to the positives. What do you think is 1 or 2 of the most positive things that Scottsdale has going for it?
Oh, it's got many things going for it. The preserve is a biggie. Just the natural beauty of the entire city, not just the preserve, but all of our parks and public spaces, the amenities that we have here. We're a very manicured city. I think it's just a general beauty would be one. And then we also have a great deal of wonderful, I imagine the second thing would be primarily the fact that we have so many tourists that want to come here and spend their money here and enjoy their time here, which keeps our taxes low because they spend their money here. So tourism would be number 2. I was going to say also just the great economic development that's taking place in Scottsdale. But 1 and 2 would probably be the preserve and the tourism that we've been able to create over the last few years.
So with COVID and tourism probably going to suffer a bit in the short term, perhaps the long term,
Yes.
and you're talking economic development, do you see some way that we need to perhaps diversify further our economic portfolio, or do you think we have the right mix?
I think we should always be working on that. I was a businesswoman for over 4 years, and when you're in business, you not only want to continue to provide services to your current customers, but you want to bring new ones in too. And it's kind of the same way with the economy. You want to build on your current economic base, which is primarily tourism, but you don't want to depend on it solely. So you need to bring in other types of development and activity in the city that's going to help counterbalance the tourism. So I think we should always work on strengthening our business community, making sure that we have great amenities here for our residents, and diversifying in many various sectors of business so that we bring in people that might want to be in the healthcare industry or in the tech industry, because we are a very, very attractive business in city for all these various people that might want to come here and have jobs. So it's important that we do create an atmosphere here that people want to come here, work here, live here, play here. It's a great community, and we want to strengthen it by diversifying our economy as much as possible.
Right. Well, one of the things that makes a great community, and I feel this very strongly, are great neighborhood schools. And I think one of the reasons why we have high property values, it's a cycle, and I've talked about it. Great schools give us great community, which give us high property values, which makes more people want to move here, which gives us high property values, which makes great schools. It's a hamster wheel. Do you see, I know that the council and the school board, and there are lots of school districts that touch Scottsdale, but let's just mainly go with Scottsdale Unified since it shares the first name. Do you see any way for the council and the mayor as yourself to work more hand in hand, or is there certain projects you'd like to see? How do you see the schools and city government working together in the future?
Well, right now, I think there are some ways we do work together. There's always ways to strengthen a relationship. So I think we should never discount the concept of strengthening the bonds between the school board, the school superintendent, and I think it's always critical. But we have some wonderful things we're already doing in Scottsdale with the schools. One of them is the Back to School program, which helps 1,000 needy children have backpacks and clothes and shoes, etc. That's put on at the city It's in conjunction with the school district. It's in conjunction with Honor Health and other employers. So this is a great way that the city is contributing to the schools by holding this back to school program every year. If you've never been to it, you should attend.
It's at Vista, right? Vista
It's,
Del Camino?
no, it used to be held at the stadium, one day, all day at the stadium, but the stadium was being renovated. So last time it was held at the Performing Arts Center in their atrium. And so there were stations set up where, you know, shoes were available, clothes. They give some minor medical examinations, but they also give them vouchers for going to get dental work done, to get physicals. There's a variety of programs that are available so that when the child comes with the parent, when that child leaves, he's got basically everything. He's got clothes, school supplies, backpack. He's ready to take his school physical. He can get his dental checkup done. He's got everything available because these are kids who do not have money to do some of these things and buy some of these things, or at least their parents don't. So this is a wonderful program. And so, you know, I think that we also provide after school programs for kids during this crisis. School is not operating, and the back to school or the after school programs are not either. But when school starts again, we're going to have to be creative on how we're going to be working with the schools, because are we going to be having to physically distance children? There's things that we need to be talking about. We don't know if they're going to have masks on or not, but we have a lot of programs available. We have school resource officers that we send into the schools to kind of keep the peace at the schools. Those are provided. So I believe right now we do a lot of work with the schools. We as councilmen get involved in some of those things. I always go to the back to school thing. I've talked to the school resource officers about their interaction at schools. But if there's more formalized things we need to do, I'm very open to that. I'm very pro schools. I went to public schools. I am who I am because I got a public education, and I couldn't afford a private school, so I went to a public school. And I think that it's the one way we can help kids get ahead in the world. If they don't have an education, they're never going to be able to succeed in life. So it's very, very important for me personally to support schools.
Yeah, I worked on school budgets here in Scottsdale, and while the city does allow us to have school resource officers, it's the school district that pays all of the salary. So perhaps, this is just me, maybe the city picks up half of that like they used to. Just me.
I don't think that the school pays for all of it, but I'm not positive about that. I thought there was
it used to be half, and then it became much more on the schools. Hey, you were speaking.
There's money available.
Thank you.
But, yeah.
There won't be.
You know how it is.
There is, you know, when this new budget comes out, if we can rub two nickels against each other, we'll have two nickels.
That's where we are too. We've
Yes.
been greatly affected by COVID. Sales taxes have plummeted.
Well, and you know what? I'm going to skip what Rose, there's a question here, but let's get into that, all right? I'm running for the state legislature. I know you are a fiscal conservative. I think I'm a fiscal conservative. I cut coupons. I try to look at every nickel, every dime. I mean, I really, that's the way I grew up. But at some point, we have to look at our budget and say, you know what, we've cut revenues for 25 years, and then we get into this position where we don't have enough for essential services. We have an economy that gives us revenues based mainly on personal income taxes and sales tax. That's about 90% of our budget. If we don't diversify in some way and bring some of the sales tax down and expand to some sort of business or property tax. Now, I'm not saying this is what we have to do, but we have to diversify the portfolio, in my opinion, or else we get totally out of whack and we continue with the cuts because we go so steep and deep when we hit a recession.
Mm-hmm.
You are a fiscal conservative. Do you see a need for new revenue at all?
Sure. I think the schools are not funded well. I really don't think that you're getting the kind of money you should. And I know that this has happened over the course of many years.
Yeah.
But, you know, in looking at the amount of money that's going to the school system, it's not good and it needs to be improved. So I've not worked in the legislature. I've not worked on the state budget. That's something you'll have to deal with, not me.
Yeah.
I'm well to deal with the city budget, but I can tell you that yes,
Well,
I know that the amount of money that's been provided to the schools over the years has deteriorated. That's not good.
yeah.
And that's why you have to have overrides and all the things that are necessary. Taxpayers hate overrides. Plus, you have to work on them every time.
Exactly, Suzanne, exactly.
So
Let's get rid of those things.
if you got the money in the first place, there wouldn't be a need for an override.
That's no way to fund a school system, to have
No.
to go out every 5 years and say, more porridge, please.
Right. I agree with that. I do. I think that when you have to keep going back and saying we have to override our budget, then obviously the budget wasn't adequate. So you need to have more money coming into the budget. It's kind of,
Thank you so
a
much.
no-brainer.
Well, the other side of that argument is, well, I have a family. I live with inside a budget. You need to live with inside your budget. And I come back at that by saying, well, if you don't have enough money coming into your family budget that you can put 3 squares on the table a day, you get a second job. That's the way it works. You don't starve your family. We're starving our family.
Right. And I would agree with that.
Speaking of food, Suzanne Klapp, you and I went out to lunch a while back. Do you remember? It was pre-pandemic. It was so much fun. We were able to talk.
It's so long ago. I've almost forgotten. It's like it's been 3 years ago. It's been what, 6 months?
I remember it was like it was yesterday.
Oh, well, good for you. But there's been a lot of happened since then.
I remember.
Pre-pandemic.
I remember.
It's called Il Capo, right?
Yes, Il Capo. You had a nice mozzarella plate with the tomatoes and everything.
It was
and I kept offering you some of mine. Would you like to try it? Would you like to try it? And it took a really long time. I think I had to actually come out and say, Suzanne, can I try yours? Let's get past that. Next time we go out to lunch, I ask you if you want something, you ask me if I want something, and then we try it. Okay?
Okay. I promise I will do that.
Hey, so we talked about the unity and community. I want to give you some kudos here. I want to thank you for, you came out with a very forceful statement. And a rather unfortunate incident happened with one of our council people, was very tone deaf, wasn't reading the room well. Well, actually was probably reading the room well with the unmasked protest. And we've got some real bad blowback as a city. And you were the only person I saw out of the mayoral candidates to ask him to step aside and not run again. So I want to thank you.
Well,
I felt the same way.
I asked him to resign, which means he wouldn't run again.
Same thing. I did too. Sorry, I didn't term it
Yeah,
correctly.
and I was also the only member on the council that did that too, not just the mayoral candidates.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think you know what, you've gone up a notch in my book, because here's my feeling. Well, you were already pretty high. Are you high now? You're not high.
I hope I'm higher now.
Okay.
Which high are we talking about?
That's exactly right. I was going to ask you how you feel about medical marijuana in just a second. No, I won't. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people, as they came in and they saw the footage, their mouth was agape. It was really unbelievable. But now, after it's been a few days, what really caught my eye was the interview in the Atlantic with the San Francisco Giants guy.
Oh, did that catch your eye? I would think so.
Oh my goodness. And I'm really surprised. Have the Charros, have they come out with a statement?
I don't recall the Charros have said anything. I do think Experience Scottsdale did, but I haven't seen anything from the Charros.
I know the Chamber did.
I know that people within the city have met with the Giants to talk to them. So there has been a meeting. I was not a part of that meeting. It's very unfortunate that we've got this kind of reaction from the Giants, but I understand why. And it was the same reaction I had, is that this is just inexcusable. It's appalling, the way it was done. I know that the councilman is saying that it was not meant to make fun or hurt. It appeared to me that it was intentional. That I've viewed the videotapes. It was not there, but I've seen many videotapes of that particular encounter. And so from everything I can see, it was intentional and it's unacceptable. I cannot agree with that. I have been friends and friendly with this councilman, and I've supported him in the past when he's done some things that people didn't like. And I felt, okay, in the past, it was just a mistake. This time, I can't excuse it. You can't keep excusing bad behavior. And he needs to understand that when you do or say something this racist, and it was, that there are consequences. And in my mind, he has to learn something from this. And you don't just apologize because most people have not accepted it. You need to do more. And so I hope that he will finally realize how bad this is for the city and resign, because I've seen thousands of emails. I'm trying to get through as many as I can. I don't think I can ever answer them all. I've probably been able to answer 500 or 600 emails by now. And they all say somewhat the same thing. I visit Scottsdale, I live in Pittsburgh, or I live in Minnesota, or I live in Scottsdale. And those who live here don't want people to even know they live here. And those who don't live here and visit here don't want to come back, which means our tourism suffers and our reputation has suffered. And so this is just concerning to me, because we don't need to have this kind of bad, extremely bad publicity for the city of Scottsdale. And the people that are writing are angry, they're hurt, they're incensed. I understand their rage, I really do. And I've been reading many of them, not all of them in total. Sometimes they're saying the same thing. But I really have gotten a good sense of how people feel about this by reading these emails and trying to respond to them. And when I do respond, I tell them that I've asked for him to resign. And they write back and say, thank you. Somebody needs to do it. That's the response I'm getting.
Yeah, I as far as he's concerned, if he really didn't mean it the way it seems it was meant, because it was scripted and, they had the whole thing on the pad and everything. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that he didn't mean it the way it came out. When you then give an apology that says, for anybody who might have been offended, it's a non-apology. And then when you have a city, when you've stained the city that you want to represent, you have to take your personal self out of this and say, you know what, it wasn't what I meant, but this is a real black eye for the city. I'm going to resign because I can't stand the city I love being hurt by something I didn't mean to do. You fall on your sword. You do the right thing.
I agree. It would be the best approach, and I hope he comes to that conclusion. That's what I recommended, and it's up to him, because we cannot remove him. He was elected by voters, and it's not in our power to remove him from his office. So he'll either have to resign. He is running for election, so if he even should lose, he can still stay there till the end of the year, because he's elected through 2020. Yeah. So it's going to be up to him, and I hope he realizes eventually the harm that it's done the city. He's a very big proponent of tourism, and this is will hurt and is hurting tourism right now.
Yes. And let's forget about the whole anti-mask thing. Suzanne, do you wear a mask when you go out around other people?
I do.
Me too.
I've been wearing them always to the grocery store.
Yes.
But now, obviously, I'm even wearing them as I hadn't been walking into a restaurant with a mask. I just go to the table. Now I have my mask on, sit down at the table, take the mask off as directed. So to me, it's a small thing that we need to do. I don't like it any better than anybody else, but we have a lot of rules that are put on us that we don't like, but we have to follow. So just seatbelts. Seatbelts is a good
I got a lot more facial hair. It's very uncomfortable, but I do it all the time. It's not a matter of I've said this before. If you were to sneeze, I would say, bless you. When I say bless you, it doesn't mean you have to believe in God. It doesn't mean you have to go to church. It's a nice thing to do for your neighbor. Yeah. It's like the courtesy wave, right? Hey, somebody let you in. Thanks very much. That's what we do as a good neighbor.
But sometimes people won't do anything unless you force them.
Yes.
And they won't wear masks. And the seatbelt rule is a good example. If we didn't have a seatbelt law, I might not be wearing a seatbelt, because I don't remember ever thinking it was a big deal at the time when they said we had to wear seatbelts, and I grumbled, but I put it on.
Yeah, me too.
But now it's just a matter of you do it, you don't even think about it. But at the time the seatbelt laws came out, there was a lot of complaints and that this is against my freedom and you can't do this to me. And of course, if you get pulled over and you don't have your seatbelt on, you get a ticket. So they got the idea that they better wear their seatbelt.
Yeah, I liken it more towards, I mean, the seatbelt is really to save them. It really isn't the car that they hit. But I liken it more towards the person that wants to smoke their cigarette inside the restaurant or even on the patio, thinking, hey, it's me, personal freedom. This is my liberty. Puff away. I'm the only one. No, actually, we've learned now that your secondhand smoke actually bothers and makes other people sick. And this is the same way with the virus. So if the very least you can do is itch that face a little bit, but the very best you can do is save lives, I think it's not even, so yeah, I'm getting all wound up with the anti-maskers.
I know, I do understand the personal freedom argument. There's a number of people that don't want their freedoms trampled upon, and I agree with that. But there are laws that you put in place that do take away some freedoms. And this is a pandemic we're in. So yes. That if there's a pandemic and we're being told by all the health officials that we should wear a mask now, then why would I say, well, I have personal freedom, I don't have to wear a mask when I'm endangering everybody else? So, you know, I do think there comes a point where you can't proclaim personal freedom because you have to understand that people are dying from this disease. And I don't particularly want to die, and I don't want to give it to anybody else either.
Well, Suzanne, all right, personal freedom, I understand that's a certain segment of population. They want you to say that. But really, are we going to say, hey, don't come with pants? That's personal freedom. Or you know what?
Absolutely. You can go naked into a restaurant, but I think they're going to kick you out.
I think that's a problem. I think it's against the law.
Probably kick out faster with being naked than if you don't have a mask on.
You would really stick out if you know what I mean.
Yes.
In fact, I say to people, if you're not going to wear a mask, please don't wear any clothes, so I can see you coming a mile away and I can stay in my lane. Hey, before we get to the game, I'm sorry, but this was such a good conversation. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Tomorrow's program, we're going to have the former Director of Communications for Ken Bennett and for Governor Brewer. He's currently the Vice President of the Scottsdale Chamber of Commerce. My friend Matthew Benson. We're going to try to have a little tete-a-tete. Yes. We're going to talk a little bit Republican-Democrat stuff, and we're going to see what we agree upon. I love it. And so hopefully people tune in tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, we have Adrian Fontes, our Maricopa County recorder. And then on Thursday, we end the month of our June month of local elections with Bill Crawford, last person to speak as the council member. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what we try to do here at the end, Suzanne, is we try to do a little game, right? So just for fun, fun. Okay. First of all, if you want to learn more about Suzanne's candidacy and get to ask questions that perhaps you didn't get to now in this time frame, go to Suzanne Klapp. There's 2 N's in Suzanne. There's 2 P's in Klapp.com.
And Klapp starts with a K.
Klapp with a K. Now we're going to play Clap Back. Okay? All the kids today, when they make a point, they clap it out. So we're going to play Clap Back. We're going to talk about famous feuds.
Oh, I want to do now. When they make a point, they do that. Okay, I didn't.
I will not wear a mask.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, it's really rather childish, but if you want to do that, you can. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you about some famous feuds. You might not even know some, and you'll just have to play along. Okay.
And am I going to have to clap on the one I like, or how do I use the clap?
No, unless you really want to win some fans over, you can.
I'll just answer.
Okay. In the feud between David Letterman and Jay Leno, what team were you on? Letterman or Leno?
Leno.
You were. Yeah, he got the gig. He got the Tonight Show. I was always Team Letterman. I was a little wacky like that.
And that beard that Letterman wears, it's just awful.
Yeah, that's since he went off the air. Boy, that thing is huge.
It's just, I mean, how do you eat with that thing?
What about his wife? What a sad state of affairs that is.
I'd say it's that beard or me.
That beard or me.
Or me.
Thank you. Clap attack. Clap back. Okay. Yeah. Frank Sinatra versus Marlon Brando. What team are you on?
Marlon Brando.
Oh, yes. Gonna make an offer you cannot refuse.
No, he just did some fabulous movies.
I love that guy. My
Yeah.
favorite movie is The Godfather 1. Second favorite, Godfather 2. Okay, this is a rather current one. Paris Hilton or Lindsay Lohan? Team Hilton or Team Lohan?
God, I can't really give you a great position on either one, so I would probably take Lindsay Lohan.
Okay.
I've
How
never figured
about
out
Alex?
what does Paris Hilton do? That's the question.
She's an influencer. I think
Okay,
that's what she
well,
does.
at least Lindsay Lohan has been an actress, but Paris Hilton just kind of spends money.
Yeah, she was like the first person to kind of win the internet and kind of make
Yeah.
money just from endorsing. Oh,
Yeah.
boy, if I was Lindsay Lohan or Paris Hilton, I'd be rich. I am not. That's why I don't even have 2 nickels. Okay, here's another one. Taylor
That's why we're
Swift.
running for high-paying jobs, right?
Yeah, haven't learned yet. Taylor Swift or Katy Perry?
Taylor Swift.
I am too. I am all T Swift. I love me some
She's
T
good.
Swift. I love her. I think she's a real stand-up gal, real socially conscious. Okay, here's a little bit before your time, but Alexander Hamilton or Aaron Burr?
Oh, probably Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm Team Burr. Actually, Aaron Burr did win that feud. Okay, here's the last
I know
one.
he did. I know he did.
Last one, Miss Suzanne Klapp. Hatfields or McCoys?
So I really don't know anything about either side. I just know there was a Hatfield-McCoy feud, so I'll just like the name McCoy. I'll pick it.
It was actually a tie. They called a truce. I put that last one because of the unity in community. If the Hatfields and the McCoys can call a truce, so can we here in Scottsdale, right?
I didn't know they called it truce. I thought they shot each other and killed each other is the way.
No, I think that's Romeo and Juliet's friends.
Oh,
Okay, thank you so much for coming on, Suzanne. This was a real pleasure. Good luck to you in the election. Everybody vote August 4th and vote wise.
Vote Suzanne Klapp.
SuzanneClapp.com. Okay, bye, Suzanne. See you tomorrow with Matthew Benson.